Yo. A question that a lot of people ask me is whether they should go to school or not. So I think the answer is there are a lot of ways to get where you want. So I don't think there is one path of getting to the place where we want to go. In that sense, basically you don't want to start your life owing $160,000. That's not a good idea. If you want to get good at music and be a musician, I think you need to surround yourself with music, right? So yeah, a school would be a great option to do that, right? Because you'll study, you take lessons, you practice, you play with people, you go to see shows, but you can also create that sort of environment by yourself. Truth, it would be harder and would take more effort, but also remembering that it's very, very possible and not everybody has $160,000, and also it might not be the best idea to be, owing the bank $160,000 and then trying to get that money from gigs that pay $100. So my answer is no. Nevertheless, I did have a good experience. I went to New School in New York, and I had a good experience, going there. I could only afford it because they gave me a very, very big scholarship, so I could make that happen. But I think a lot of people forget that there are a lot of options. We have control over those options, and the answer is not yes or no. My answer is no. The answer is it depends on the situation. A school could be a great idea, and I don't think it's worth getting in debt. Definitely, I don't think that's a good idea at all, getting in debt. You're a doctor and you're gonna make $200K a year, take a loan and study, but music is tricky. Financially it's very difficult, so I think owing these kind of numbers is quite crazy. If you are considering, studying music and you could maybe get a scholarship, so maybe what I would do would be like trying to create an environment to support yourself musically. In that sense, going to a lot of shows, practicing, playing with people, listening to the style that you want to acquire. And again, there's a lot of information everywhere, right? You can go to YouTube, you can go to Instagram, you can check a lot of people and learn a lot of things for free. So do that in the beginning, apply for 10 schools and see what scholarship you can get. But also remember that it's not the only way, right? And sometimes the harder way could get interesting results. Again, it might be harder, but it still would be, you and your path. And just in general with music, I feel like it's a language, right? So we can internalize that on a very, very deep level. And then the question is how to express ourselves with that language that we're trying to acquire. But I do think that we need to be very clear about the elements of the language, right? So I'm saying music that's a huge thing. So let's talk about the style, right? Are we talking about blues? Are we talking about jazz? Are we talking about funk, fusion, rock? Whatever it is, each one of those dialects has its own characteristics that are very, very specific. So if we want to study jazz, we really need to listen to a lot of music, really zoom into that culture, and that takes a few years. Whether you should go to Berklee or New School, the answer is depending on your situation. I'd love to hear what you guys think and what do you guys feel about that, because the question of people, hard to just say yes or no. I hope this helps even a little bit.